Hi everyone, this is Christy Mergenthaler, a proud member of the Siskiyou chapter of the Native Plant Society of Oregon, and we are in a bit of a storm, hail at the moment, on Siskiyou Peak, found on the eastern Siskiyou crest. We're not too far from Mount Ashland, which you can see right there. And this is the site of a pretty rare, globally rare plant that is getting covered in hail and snow. Okay, zoom in a little bit. There, you can kind of see it. It is in the carrot family, and it is called Halstassia or Tassia howellii. It's named after T.J. Howe, the wonderful, humble pioneer botanist of Oregon, who wrote the first flora in the early 1900s. And Tassia comes from the name of another botanist from Czechoslovakia. T.J. Howe collected over 10,000 plants in the Pacific Northwest, including some type specimens, including this one. It is very rare. You can find it here. You can find it on the adjacent McDonald Peak Botanical Area and Roadless area. And that's it for Oregon. It's found in a couple locations in California, just a handful in the Salmon Mountains. Oh, now we got snow. Oh, by the way, that's Acorn. She's a Poaceae grass expert and is available for consultation or stick chewing. This plant, here, let's step on any, is got extra spiky leaflets and bractlets, and looks just quite different from other Tassias and other carrot family members. And see, what else do we have here? Not a lot blooming. It's pretty early. It's, I think, June 5th or 6th today. Often this area is covered in snow. It looks like more snow is coming. We have spreading phlox, Phlox diffusa, and lots of other great plants that aren't blooming yet, like greenleaf manzanita, and green fescue, which is kind of rare in our region because the hordes of sheep and cows that overgrazed the Siskiyou crest in the late 1800s, early 1900s. There's more. Halstassia. Anyway, I wanted you to meet it. It grows on granitic soils. Let me see. Here's an example of a granodiorite kind of rock. It's white and black. It's lacking the pink potassium feldspar that you also find up here. That's in true granite. And I think that is it for now. End of my very professional video. Bye.
So we're up above the Blue Ledge Mine at the headwaters of Joe Creek, Elliott Creek watershed, on this schist bedrock. And we're enjoying these beautiful Louisiana displays. So the Siskiyou bitterroot is blooming in profusion up here in the rock gardens, amongst a whole host of other spectacular blossoms and wildflower displays. But perhaps one of my favorite is this Siskiyou bitterroot, Louisiana cotyledon.
John Rinaldi here, showing you Lilium parlinum growing next to our little pond. These were planted by James Duncan a long time ago, I'm guessing. And we've been keeping this going. Happy to show you now. This year, these guys are probably a good foot or two shorter. They've been in a hurry to flower, but doing so beautifully right now.
This is a Wiggins lily, grown from seed.
Dan Bish here with Plant Oregon. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Hi. We stumbled upon a thimbleberry patch here in the middle of the nursery. I have protected this thimbleberry patch from becoming a parking lot, and it just flourishes here, virtually no care, and is covered with berries. And this thing hums with the little insects, and don't ask me which insects they are. But I absolutely love this plant. Be careful in the garden, because as you can see, it will just take over. This thing will take over parking lots. So if you want to take over a parking lot, this is your native plant.
You're videotaping that. At Plant Oregon here with Jenny Black and Cal Bright, hard working folks, and they're going to show you some really cool native plants that could be in gardens or in the wild. What do we got here?
First we have some Philadelphus Louisiana, mock orange, native plant. The smell is incredible. It blooms for actually quite some time, and it's a little bit later than most of our native white flower pollinators.
They really
Bees
like
love them.
They really like wet feet. It's perfect if you have an environment that wants some shade. Most of the plants that we're going to show you today are going to be plants that like shade and
Understory.
yeah, very understory.
We have Polystichum minutum. I might have slaughtered that name, but it is our native sword fern with some bleeding heart seeping in right there. Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Dicentra formosa. Those have a little, how do they do it?
Like rhizomes.
Yep, rhizomes, and
they spread. Yeah.
Look at this whole, this
Like
is
Bermuda
one
grass, but you
plant
love
right
'em.
here that just took over this whole entire zone and created its own little happiness.
Oh, yeah,
Blooms. Look at the lush green
See how they
happiness.
spread? They just love the family
And then we
environment.
pop
And
up
look at
over
this
here
right
to some
here.
Rosa woodsii. Cal wants to talk about the rose.
It loves shade as well. This is something that if you want some color, you know, you get a lot of green, a lot of evergreen. This is something that's going to be deciduous and flower and give you color in those type of environments, like where you'd have a sword fern or some bleeding heart.
Ladybugs love it. Look at the little droplets of water that it collects.
Another really cool thing is that they have some red. It's the red stem. Really pretty.
Kind of small, so they don't.
Oh, small thorns.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, small thorns. See how I'm spreading it like I can put my hands. I'm grasping it. It's really it doesn't hurt.
Well, thank you, Plant Oregon, and we'll talk to you soon.
Exactly 20 years ago today, on June 9th, 2000, President Clinton declared this area we're going to look at today as Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument. You are looking at Pilot Rock. We'll be hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail. This is the rare Siskiyou onion, Allium siskiyouense. Notice the sickle-shaped flattened leaves, often grows in rocky serpentine areas. Sometimes in this area it's especially abundant. This year there's just a few scattered here and there. Pretty little pink flower. Here's a nice clump of Siskiyou onion on the way up to Pilot Rock. The little spur trail that goes off the PCT. I'm not very good with this camera, but you get the idea. Rocky exposed areas. And I think we got some snow down here a couple days ago. I think they might have gotten a little frozen. Calochortus elegans, elegant cat's ear. Purple center with long hairs on the petals except for the very pointed tips. Whoops, sorry. Very pointed tips, there's no hairs. This one you can see a little bit better. The very tip, there's no hairs. All right, that's it. A particularly nice clump of Anemone deltoidia that I just had to stop and say hello to. Wildflower, beautiful. Polemonium carnium, Jacob's ladder, is abundant on this trail. Lasts for a long time, it seems. I assume the name Jacob's ladder comes from the leaves, the biblical reference to Jacob's ladder. I once hiked a trail in the Marble Mountain Wilderness called Jacob's Ladder. I'll never do it again. Hell of a hike. Jacob's Ladder. According to Wiley Dave Willis, longtime chairperson of the Soda Mountain Wilderness Council, this spot, this trail, this hike, this view was the clincher. Secretary of the Interior Bruce Babbitt was determined that this area should become a national monument after being here. Happy birthday, Cascade, Siskiyou.
This is the Checkermallow Garden. It's mostly Sidelcia campestris, the meadow checkermallow. Camas grows in here too, but it's gone to seed. And this is the hyacinth Perodia, or Tritolea, I guess it's called now. And it used to live there, but moved over here with the other Tritoleas. This is our fleabane garden. Alice's fleabane on the left, and the showy fleabane.
Hi, I'm standing on the Siskiyou Crest in the Condor Mountain Roadless area in the Elliott Creek watershed. I'm at an unnamed small pond that has sundews and Pacific silver fir, and behind me here is Kalmia microphylla. It's mountain laurel or bog laurel, and it only grows in a couple locations on the Siskiyou Crest, including here in the Condor Mountain Roadless area. So say hello to Kalmia microphylla.
The town of Talent, right here. And then we drove up Anderson Creek Road and up to Section Line Gap over here. And then we drove along the Ridge Road, past Yank Gulch Gap, past Point Mountain, which is a nice spot. And then we're going, we're on the back side, looking over the Little Applegate on the backside of Bald Mountain. Okie doke, we're up here on the ridge. So we're looking across at the Siskiyou Crest, Big Red Mountains on the left, Dutchman's Peaks is on the right with a little bit of snow, and we're looking down into the Little Applegate drainage. We have some lupin here, hi, and some sulfur flower buckwheat. I believe it's white leaf lupin. I'm going to stick to common names unless I don't know one and I only know the genus. So let's see. We also have a rabbit brush here and paintbrush. You're looking at sulfur flower buckwheat right now and white leaf lupin right next to it. And then over here we have paintbrush, Indian paintbrush. It's probably Applegatii. Castellea Applegatii. Okay, going across the road here. These are really pretty if you get underneath it, get the view from below. Okay, so now we're looking at bluehead gilia, which is a new flower for me. I've probably seen it before, but I just identified it in this book right here. So this is John Kemper's Field Guide to Wildflowers of Southern Oregon. So it's a pretty handy book for identifying wildflowers around here. Here's the flower right here, bluehead gilia, Gilia capitata. There you go. Without a doubt, that is what we're looking at. And we could give the description, but you can look it up yourself. Pretty fun. Okay, this is another one. Again, probably seen it before, but just identified it in Kemper's book. It's called Threadleaf Phacelia. Phacelia linearis. Right here, this beautiful one. And again, it's pretty obvious, but you can run down the description and get a feel for yourself. Gorgeous little flower, though. There's a lot in bloom here today on June 10th. Look at that beautiful little plant, and I believe we just identified this as ballhead sandwort, or Arenaria congesta, and it's growing right out of the rock outcrop, which is very nice, right next to a very pretty sedum on the side there. Also about to flower, but not quite there yet. So, hey, rock gardens, beautiful rock gardens, right here in the Siskiyous. Okay, let's see. This is the plant, and this is a different book. Real quick, we're looking at Wildflowers of the Pacific Northwest by Mark Turner and Phyllis Gustafsson. Also a great book, but a little bit more general than just our local region, but very helpful for identifying plants. So, ballhead sandwort, I believe. And look at this beautiful incense cedar, old growth with a couple very nice snags with lichen growing all over them. Just another pretty sight up here on the ridge. And here's another penstemon, very small flowered one. I don't have an identification for you right now, but it is very pretty. Okay, here's another lupin here, a little bit smaller and hairier. This is the bicolored lupin, and it's growing quite nicely in with buckwheat and sandwort that we just looked at, the ballhead sandwort. There's a Clarkia growing out of the rocks. Stem comes out right next to this pretty little Klamath plum. And then if you look right next door, over here, we've got Areophyllum, or Oregon Sunshine, which is also in full bloom today. We've got a Lomatium here, or a biscuit root, and we just looked it up in Kemper's book. And it appears to be, let's see, narrow-leafed desert parsley or 9-leaf biscuit root, Lomatium triternatum. Hey, okay, look at this bumblebee, just loving that valerian right there. I believe that's Valerian sichensis, and what a beautiful sight to see. Yeah, you get it. And next door here, oops, we are right next door to a Balsamorrhiza deltoidea. What is that? Deltoid balsam root. Very pretty sunflower, I must say. And moving over here, it's a little spent, but we've got the Western bleeding heart right here, Dicentra formosa, kind of growing on the side of the road. Quite pretty. And then there's a Lomatium here that we didn't quite identify. I bet you someone could identify it in the group here. Maybe common Lomatium, another biscuit root. And then I think there's one more flower right nearby. And I didn't get an identification on this one, but it's a Jacob's ladder or a Polemonium, I believe. We could look it up later, but kind of peachy colored, very pretty little thing. Okay, enjoy. Hey, look at this nice little Tolmes calicortis, cat's ears, Calicortis tolmii. And then it's growing just a few feet away from Death Camas. Zygodinus, I forget the species, but it's looking really pretty up here on this ridge trail. Okay, I believe we found our native thistle here, this snowy thistle, Cirsium occidental, and this is what it looks like when it's flowering. So it has that cobwebby look on inside the flower, but they're not yet flowering up here on the ridge. Okay, look at this beauty. Just looked it up, and I believe it's fairly common around these parts, but here we go. Ready? Right to the book. Iris chrysophylla, slender-tubed iris. One of our native honeysuckles, the Lanicera ciliosa. Very beautiful. Hummingbird nectar plant.
On a bright, sunny June 3rd day in southwest Medford, I'm welcoming you to my front yard, my showy milkweed. I have California poppy, California coneflower, horse mint, sneezeweed, serviceberry, broadleaf lupin. Hiding back there's a Columbia monkshood, a very pretty and special California fuchsia. My Oregon sunshine, as you can see, is busy with pollinators, but the flowers are starting to ebb. I have 2 rabbit brush, 2 coyote mint, a Joe Pye weed, leafy rock aster, a really brand new heartleaf milkweed, lupin, and a cream stonecrop sedum that's trying to bloom. Thanks for joining me in my front yard.
Some Vesper meadow flowers. Here's mule's ear,
Wyathea angustifolia.
we have prairie smoke or old man whiskers, some death camas, some penstemons, creekside views at Vesper Meadow. This rocky hill slope here has some Lomatium dissectum gone to seed. New blooms of Oregon sunshine. You can see some purple ukau in there. Spirea. And then we also have some yampa that just came into bloom.